The biggest positive thing is their openness to eating plant-based dishes. They're not picky about their food. Like if we have several plant-based dishes there, they'll have some. A big one is my son. So we're just meat or junk food. Now he is being more mindful about being more vegetables into his meals. I'm very happy about that.
Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. Friend, have you ever felt worried about starting plant-based first because the rest of your family are meat eaters? Maybe you're worried that you'll end up having to always eat differently and be forever double cooking. If that's you, I know how you're feeling. But sometimes you won't know till you take that first step forward. And sometimes the results can be amazingly beyond what we could have thought or imagined. That was the case for my coaching client, Dawn, who is part of a meat-eating family. And that's why I'm sharing this segment of her testimonial interview with you today. I hope it will encourage you. Not only was Dawn a full-time nurse, she was also a busy mama with a family of 5, with a 14-year-old teenage son and 10-year-old twin daughters. And the whole family was used to a meat-heavy regular diet, especially her husband. But things started to shift pretty quickly for both her and her family after we began working together. Let's listen in now to Dawn's experience.
I think before when I tried plant-based in the beginning, the challenges and struggle was seeing my family eating meat. And I was not really knowing other recipes besides salad that I could eat. So I guess when I met you and then searching on my own on Pinterest and finding recipes, that got things started. And I wasn't very much of a absolute bean or legumes. I didn't have them in my diet before, but I was absolutely learning and I can incorporate that as my protein meatless substitute. Then I started to broaden my recipe scope.
That's wonderful. What would you say would be the biggest positive change that's happened in your life since we started working together?
The positive change is it's helping me to lose weight, and my family is eating more plant-based foods. They're open to trying. My family, like my son, he loves that high protein energy bar. He's telling me to make some. And my daughters, they've always loved vegetables since they were very young. They're more health conscious and they're kind of leaning more toward vegetable and fruit versus all meat. That's something that we kind of did before. I can see a positive change in my family.
How about your husband? Has there been any changes you noticed in his weight?
Well, not too much weight change from last year to this year. His labs improved, like his cholesterol improved, his A1C stayed the same, and glucose levels have stayed the same. So that's a positive. I think the biggest thing for him is being more mindful since I've been doing this. He's making more healthier choices. And there were some recipes that he came up on his own that were healthy that you might know me, like with tofu or like cucumber salad. It's not totally perfect yet where he's 100%, but he is making healthier choices Yeah, so there's a huge positive difference.
Definitely sounds like he's moving in the right direction with his food choices. And that's wonderful to hear. He's able to come up with some recipes that are plant-based, so that's great. I think you said his cholesterol had improved, his total cholesterol. Did his LDL also improve, or is it about the same?
He said that, yeah, his cholesterol had improved slightly. His LDL did improve.
Okay. Before this year, have you noticed in general his weight was slowly going up every year a little bit? So it's a win that it's stable this past year? Or has it been kind of fluctuating up and down over the years?
I would say in the prior years, it was probably climbing, but this past year, it's been stable.
Okay, that's great. For your family, what do you think has been the biggest positive change you've noticed?
The biggest positive thing is their openness to eating plant-based dishes. They're not picky about their food. Like if we have several plant-based dishes there, they'll have some, A big one is my son. So we're just eat meat or junk food. But now he is being more mindful about eating more vegetables into his meals. I'm very happy about that. Sometimes it's like, do you want this? You might have, meat as part of the choices for dinner. And he'll be like, no, I'll just have this instead. Something light with, vegetable.
That's really wonderful to hear. And I hope also your husband, maybe your son as well, will start to see more and more that plant-based foods, especially some of the right ones, are really very good sources of protein. I hope that they see that plant-based proteins can be very good for their bodies as well.
Friend, this is only a part of Dawn's experience that I am sharing with you today. I hope her story fills you with hope to know that change is possible and that it can be possible within your own family too. But it may have to start with you, being willing to take that first step forward towards positive change, to try plant-based eating or making your meals more plant-powered. Sometimes it really only takes one person in the family to begin plant-based eating, to start the ball rolling in terms of positive change in the rest of the family. As we saw in Dawn's case, it was her decision to start a plant-based diet first that sparked a cascade of impact in her loved ones, especially for her husband, teenage son, and young daughters. This can happen in your own family too. The clearest example of this positive change happening was at Thanksgiving, about 3 months after we started working together. That year, instead of the usual drab brown meat-based dishes decorating the table, Dawn happily reported to me that for the family meal, the family had collaboratively prepared a scrumptious meal comprising of 8 dishes. But out of the 8 dishes, 5 were plant-based ones. Dawn also proudly told me that they had tried a tangy cinnamon sweet potato bake recipe I had given her, and that the whole family had enjoyed it. And it was actually her husband who made the dish. And change continues. After this testimonial interview, Dawn continued a plant-based diet lifestyle. And about 7 months later, she told me that her husband wanted to try eating plant-based. She wrote this to me. I have some great news. My husband says he wants to try a plant-based diet. He said that he will start off slowly by cutting out his red meat. Isn't that fantastic to hear? I am so ecstatic to see just how far her family has come in terms of embracing more plant-based foods within meals. I hope you're leaving this episode more inspired and empowered to eat plant-based and see how that can change your life and benefit those closest to you. If you want more customized support in helping you and your family move from meat-heavy meals into plant-powered, health-transforming ones, reach out to me at healthnow@plantnourish.com or see the show notes, and let's connect. Thank you so much for listening. If this podcast has inspired, encouraged, or helped you in some way to transform your health, I would love to hear about it. Please take 30 seconds to rate and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts to let me know. It'll encourage me so much to hear how this podcast has positively impacted and made a difference in your journey towards wellness. And share about this podcast with a friend or loved one so we can all thrive in the best health. Remember, plant-based eating can be easy and doable. See you in the next episode, my friend.